So if you've done any online shopping at all over the last few years, you have undoubtedly gotten to the checkout page only to see these little logos from companies like Affirm or Afterpay or Klarna offering you the alluring option to buy now and pay later by splitting up your purchase into several smaller interest-free payments. On the surface, this might seem like a completely harmless or even beneficial option. I mean, if you don't have to pay interest, then where's the harm, right? Well, as the saying goes, if it's too good to be true, you're about to get screwed. Okay, maybe I'm the only one who says that. But these services are a huge problem and we need to talk about it. So let's say you're having a bad day and you think to yourself, you know what would make me feel so much better? Buying the world's ugliest toaster for $800. So you hop over to the website of your favorite department store and find the ugliest, most overrated countertop appliance they sell. You're just about to pull the trigger when you suddenly start to get cold feet and start to realize that maybe $800 is a little too much to be spending on a toaster. Maybe you don't have $800. Hell, maybe you don't even like toast. You could do what most people would do, which is just to put that purchase on a credit card, but that would cost you an additional 20 to 30% in interest, and that would be irresponsible, and you've been trying to pay off your cards. So now you have a few options. You could just pick a cheaper toaster, one that does the exact same thing for a fraction of the price and without assaulting your retinas first thing every morning. Or if you're dead set on having that hideous expensive one, you could just gradually save up for it over time and then buy it when you finally have the money saved. Or you could use Affirm to secure that monstrosity today, all for 12 interest-free payments of $66.67, and how could you say no to that? Instant gratification, baby. These buy now, pay later services, actually called POS or point of sale loans, are everywhere nowadays, and you can use them to buy virtually anything, from clothing and housewares to electronics, to even Domino's pizza. I'm not kidding. But what they actually are is just another way to manipulate you into spending money you don't have on things you probably don't need and definitely can't afford. I mean, this should go without saying, but if you need to finance a toaster for 12 months or pay 4 installments on a pair of shoes, you can't afford them. But it goes much deeper. These POS loans are just one more step towards the mass normalization of paying for nothing but making payments on everything, and it's a fast track to financial ruin. See, financing, or taking out a loan for a purchase, is absolutely nothing new. People have been financing large purchases like homes, cars, appliances, furniture, all that kind of stuff, since basically forever. Consumer debt is as quintessentially American as apple pie, or electing a mentally unstable reality TV star as president, or not having any health care. Wait a minute, do US hospitals take Affirm? Maybe they should. But now, even small everyday items come with the option to take on a payment plan, which means that people are filling their homes and their entire lives with items that they are in debt for, things that they don't even own. And before you know it, these small monthly payments add up to more than you even make in a month, which means that you're now going into debt to try to pay off the debt that you got into, wait for it, because you were in debt. For most people, it starts with financing a car.
Is this car $15,000?
Yeah, it is now.
Maybe you don't have $30,000 on hand to buy a vehicle outright, but could you come up with $700 a month every month for 6 years? Fun fact, but that adds up to over $50,000. And also, if you're in the position where you can afford a $700 a month car payment, you should also logically be able to just save up the $30,000 to buy the car outright, or just pick a cheaper car that you can actually afford to pay for. But that's not what this video is about. Then comes the Best Buy card to finance your TV or your computer at, say, $200 a month. And your phone, that's locked into a tab that you'll gradually pay down over 24 months because you didn't have the $1,000 to buy the phone in the first place, so instead it's just adding $40 a month to your phone bill. And then of course you have your regular everyday credit card that you use for things like groceries or DoorDash or whatever bullshit you buy on Amazon. And let's say your minimum monthly payment on that is like $100 a month. And now you have all these monthly payments which are sucking away every last drop of your paycheck, which means that when all is said and done, you don't have any money to your name. And now you need Klarna to break up a $100 pair of jeans into 4 bi-weekly payments of $25, which is actually just another monthly payment you're now responsible for. You know that your life is in shambles when you don't even own the pants that you're wearing. Or the pizza that you're eating. Fuck. Let's just set the record straight once and for all. If you need Afterpay or Affirm or Klarna or any similar service to be able to afford something, you can't afford it. Boom, there you go. That's the end of the video. Thanks so much for watching. No, I'm just kidding. That's not even scratching the surface. As usual, there's a lot more going on here that we still need to talk about. But before we get into that, I want to tell you about one of the best things you can do to avoid getting scammed, and that is to keep yourself and your family safe and secure online using the sponsor of today's video, Aura. Have you ever Googled yourself? Because I have, and the information that pops up can be pretty unsettling. Thanks to data brokers, your full name, your address, your email address, all of your health records, all of your personal information is just out there on the web for anybody to access, including spammers and scammers and hackers. But Aura works to keep you safe by scanning the web and notifying you of which data brokers have access to your information and then submitting deletion requests on your behalf. I don't know if you guys saw this, but AT&T recently revealed that they were subject to a massive data breach, which resulted in over 73 million current and former customer files being leaked onto the internet. The recommendation for those affected is to use strong passwords, monitor your account activity closely, and maybe even consider a credit freeze. But the good news is that Aura takes care of all of this and more, so you can maintain peace of mind even in situations like this. Head over to aura.com/accordingtonicole or click the link in the description box down below to get started with a free 2-week trial, and thank you to Aura for sponsoring this video. So the entire premise of these POS loans is that you can split up your purchase into several smaller interest-free payments, meaning that you can have whatever it is you're trying to buy right now and just pay it off gradually over time at no additional cost. But that doesn't make any sense. How do these services make any money if they don't charge any interest or fees? Surely they're not just trying to help you out from the kindness of their hearts, right? No, of course not. They're charging fees to the retailer on the back end. But if we're not the ones paying it, then who cares, right? Except for actually, we are the ones paying it. Afterpay charges retailers a whopping 6% processing fee, plus an additional 30 cents on every single transaction. Just for a reference point, traditional credit cards charge fees to merchants as well, typically somewhere within the range of 1.5% to 3.5%, which makes Afterpay's fees 2 to 3 times more expensive than a traditional credit card. And that's presumably to make up for the fact that they're not charging you interest, except for on the occasions when they are, because sometimes they do. And well, if you think that those processing fees are not being passed on to us as consumers, well then you are what the kids would call delulu. And here's the thing, that 1.5% to 3.5% fee charged by Visa, MasterCard, and American Express, that is already baked into everything we buy. Even if you're not shopping with a credit card, you're already paying inflated prices on account of everybody who does shop with credit cards. And well, as POS loans become more and more popular, you can bet your ass that we're going to see a 6% increase on the price of everything, and it wouldn't at all surprise me if retailers just round up to an even 10% simply because they can. And if you notice, most stores' prices are pretty much exactly the same wherever you go, which means that even the stores that don't offer these services are just going to raise their price to match their competitors, which means that we're now paying an additional 6% on everything we buy, regardless of where we shop. Sounds shitty, right? Well, hold your horses because we are not done yet. Afterpay themselves boast that shoppers who use their service spend on average 40% more money and shop 50% more often than those who don't. Sorry, let me repeat that in case you missed it. I feel like I need a megaphone here. Afterpay themselves admit, advertise, boast, gloat, brag that you will spend on average 40% more money and shop 50% more often when you use their service. Did you catch it that time? Without these services available, you're a lot more likely to carefully watch the total of your shopping cart, to consider whether or not the things you're buying are things you actually need to be buying, and more specifically, to shop within the limitations of your budget. But just like Amazon's one-click purchase, POS loans are designed to eliminate any barricade or point of friction between you and that shiny new thing that you can't afford. They swindle you into spending money you don't have and getting into yet another form of debt, and you're letting it happen. These services remind me of a sleazy car salesman. Like you walk into the dealership and the very first thing they ask you is, what would you like your payment to be? Not what can you afford, not what kind of car are you looking for, just how much are you looking to spend on your monthly payment. And then what they do is they take that loan and they stretch it out over years and years to superficially lower the monthly payment, basically tricking you into buying a car you can't afford that will likely die and be crushed into a cube long before you finish paying it off.
There's the truth and the truth.
There really is no situation where it makes financial sense to use Afterpay or Affirm or Klarna or any of these similar services. Because even for those of us who are more financially savvy and who really like to try to finesse the system a little bit, the short-term nature of these loans really negates any opportunity to reasonably leverage your money in an investment during that interest-free period. So by now you might be thinking, okay, these POS loans suck, we get it. But hey, at least they're not credit cards, at least they're not charging you 20 to 30% interest, right? Well, if you choose to pay your installments on a credit card, then yeah, basically they are. Yes, you heard that right. These services offer you the option to either link them to your bank account or a credit card. And if you choose to link them to your credit card, as many people do, then we're right back to square one. Your credit card will be charged in smaller increments, but if you're not paying off the balance in full every month, then you're still paying that crazy 20 to 30% interest. And what's even the point? Buy now, pay later services prey upon a financially illiterate population by convincing you they're doing you a favor when they're actually just screwing you. As inflation rages and the cost of living runs several laps around people's wages, many are finding themselves with less and less disposable income after paying their bills each month. Living paycheck to paycheck, or worse, being in debt, are supposed to be signs that you need to find ways to reduce your spending. But instead, companies like this will just continue to come up with more and more creative ways to help people do the mental gymnastics needed to justify self-sabotaging behaviors to themselves. These companies do not exist to help you. They exist solely to squeeze your hard-earned money out of you. To the powers that be, we are not human beings. We are not people. We are consumers. And come hell or high water, they're gonna make damn sure that that never changes. Even if that means offering you financing on a fucking pizza. Woo! Boy, did I get wound up in this one. There's something new. Anyways, as always, I'm very curious to hear your thoughts, so leave me a comment down below and let me know your experiences. Let me know if you've ever used any of these services and how you feel they affected your spending habits, or if, like me, you are very against them. Let me know why. If you enjoyed this video at all, please go ahead and hit that like button. Feel free to subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram at according_to_Nicole. If you'd like to support this channel further, there's a link to Patreon in the description box down below. Other than that, thank you guys so much as always for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next week. I think my blood pressure is way up after this one. Whew.